Good afternoon, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to another Facebook Live here at the Virginia Living Museums. I'm Trisha, aquarium curator, and you guys are looking at our very interactive various sunfish species in our Woodland Pond exhibit. They are obviously very interested in the camera, all saying hi and missing you guys a lot. So let me just kind of go through. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop in and I'll answer them as best as I can. We got lots of different native sunfish in this exhibit, as well as some catfish species and some others. So what we're looking at right now, this kind of silver guy, is a white perch, right? And then we have this guy here, won't back up a little bit, is a red breast sunfish. As you can see, he's got a nice orange tummy and really pretty blue lines under his eyeball. We have a lot of cool stuff going on in here. It is spring, as you guys know, and that means most animals are gearing up for mating season, and our fish are as well. So I'm gonna gear over here, and this big bad boy is one of our bull males. As you can see, he's really colored up, and he has been nesting. So he creates a little nest, and the female comes over to lay eggs in the nest, and he will guard that nest with his life. So he's really geared up. He will chase all of the guys away. Right now he's being kind of calm. No one's laid eggs in his nest yet. So that's another red breast sunfish there. Down here we got some catfish, and they're getting kind of ready to go, ready to eat. They don't ordinarily get fed until Saturday, but I thought I'd give you guys a nice little show of some enrichment. This guy under here, it looks like a catfish, and he is a catfish. He's actually a mad tom species, and he just kind of hangs out underneath the branches and hides from everyone, but he's a little guy. You can see them all over the place, actually. If you look under rocks and branches in the water, you'll find little mad toms. And then there's our channel cats, which we have all over the museum there. Those are catfish. Here we have a Roanoke bass, really red eyes. Another red breast sunfish. And it's a red ear sunfish, hard to tell. And then this guy here is called a bluegill. It's probably your most popular, most easily recognizable sunfish. And he's named that because if you look at that kind of white-blue line under his gills, they get really blue and fired up during mating season or when they're trying to communicate. So that's why they're called a bluegill. So I'm gonna kind of pop up to the top here, show you guys the exhibit from the top. We also have a resident box turtle in this exhibit who's probably hiding in the back somewhere. But what I have on the top here is their food shoved inside wiffle balls for their enrichment. So one of them is weighted so that it sinks to the bottom for the catfish, and this one will float. So I'm just gonna pop them in one at a time and see what they do. As you can see, they're all going insane. It looks like the blue one that's supposed to sink or supposed to float is sinking. So really all the fish have to do is nudge the ball around, food will fall out of the holes, and they get their food. We are feeding them today some gel diet. You see those little brown squares? That is actually Missouri gel diet. Oh, that catfish swallowed all of it. And then there is some catfish fillet, some smelt, chopped up smelt, which is a freshwater fish, and I think there's some shrimp thrown in there just for extra measure. There's our white perch again. There. White perch and sunfish are actually really smart fishes. If anyone's ever had them in their aquarium, they're very intelligent. They always know when you're walking by, they're looking at you, waiting for food. That there is a bullhead catfish, yellow bullhead. As you can see, he's got kind of a bigger, broader head, kind of a rounded tail. So that sets them apart from the channel catfish. Catfish are bottom feeders. That's why they have those whiskers to kind of taste and smell food on the bottom, and then they kind of suck it up. They actually do have kind of little sandpaper teeth on the bottom lips, on the inside of their mouth to kind of grasp food, but other than that, they do not have teeth. There's your channel catfish again. This guy right here is called a yellow perch. These guys are really, really cool. They're a migratory species. They are anadromous, but they are found in Virginia lakes and rivers and ponds. We actually, behind me, have a whole exhibit dedicated just to the yellow perch, as you can see right there. So let's swing back around. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to pipe in. I'm not seeing anybody asking anything, so I'm just gonna keep talking. There's our red breast sunfish again. The interesting thing about some sunfish species is that they can hybridize. We, for example, have had pumpkin seed sunfish here in the pond exhibit, just some male pumpkin seed, which we don't have now. But then we did not have any female pumpkin seeds, and we did have female red breasts, and so they interbred, and we had hybrid pumpkin seed / red breast sunfish, which was really cool. Really interesting. They didn't look all that different from the red breast. They were kind of longer in the head, but they were really cool to have. Do fish mate for life or season, or they just mate randomly? They kind of just mate for their season, really. The male will build a nest and attract the females to his nest, and she'll lay the eggs there, and then he will guard them. And then after that, the female's pretty much gone. It's the male that guards the nest for the eggs. How many fish do you keep in this tank? From Jackie. Well, Jackie, I actually honestly don't know. There's a lot of fish in here. I'm gonna say close to 30 fish. This is quite a long exhibit. Lots of different sunfish and catfish species in here, little basses. There, right there is in the back is a smallmouth bass, as opposed to a largemouth bass, which obviously has a larger mouth and also has some different markings that set them apart. There's a bluegill trying to get at some food in the ball there. So this little guy here is called a red ear sunfish. It doesn't look all that different from a lot of the others, but if you were turned sideways, he has this little red dot on the black spot at the end of his operculum, which is his gill cover. And that's why they're called a red ear sunfish, because it looks like they have a little red ear, or rather a little red piercing to their black ear. Where would you find these fish in nature? Are they native to Virginia? Shannon, yes, these are all native to Virginia, and you can find them anywhere. Not only are they stocked in ponds and lakes, we can even find them out in the lake here on the grounds. You can find them in rivers and different lakes all over, some ponds in your neighborhood. They're all over the place. The catfish are gonna be kind of more swampy. These Roanoke bass are actually a little further west in the Roanoke River Basin, hence the name Roanoke. Bluegill are all over the world, I think, and yellow perch as well. They're also known as European perch in Europe, that guy back there with the stripes, but that's your yellow perch, so they're ubiquitous. There are some sunfish species that are more colloquial to one certain spot or another. This guy is one of my favorites. He's a warmouth. They're a little more swampy water, look more like a bass. They're really cool. How old are your fish? These fish in this exhibit all range in age, but they're not more than about 4 or 5 years old. We do release these fish and start over with younger ones every couple of years, depending on their size. And we'll hopefully be doing that this year, if not next year. Interestingly, these fish are, like I said, really intelligent. We clean this exhibit along with all the others once a week, and I have a gravel wash tube that I stick into the water, and they are constantly poking at it if they see the leaves and any worms coming up into the gravel wash tube. They just kind of attack it, hoping the food will come out. We got a question from Katie Mancina. Which species aren't as communal, too grumpy to keep with others? These are all pretty communal. They're gonna find them in lakes and ponds all over. It's basically, if you get them too large, they might get too territorial, and it's really only during mating season. All of these guys are pretty communal. They get along just fine. They're very similar, like I said, sometimes they even interbreed. Do the new fish get scared of the balls and have to learn from the older fish what they're for? Honestly, this is the first time I personally have tried this in this exhibit. I know we've done it, some of my staff have done it with them before. They don't seem scared of it since, like I said, they are used to us sticking stuff in here and cleaning. They are very intelligent, so more than scared, they're gonna be inquisitive and kind of come over. So we're not sure that they learn from each other per se. They just kind of come investigate on their own. Do you have any baby fish from the Woodland Pond exhibit? We do not at this moment have any young babies from this exhibit. Hopefully they will be nesting and maybe will breed soon. We do have behind the scenes some juveniles of these fishes, not from this exhibit, but of the same species of animals behind the scenes, ready to be put in here later on when we switch them out. I'm just gonna keep filming, watching them play around with the food ball. Hopefully more food will come out, or they'll keep pecking at it. This is just another way to kind of enrich their mind, get them to, it's like a puzzle, get them to kind of work on it to get the food out rather than just giving them food daily. We feed this exhibit every other day on our all exhibit feeding days, so that's Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and generally we'll give them a little additional feeding every now and then. What is the average lifespan of these species of fishes? That's a good question. I think it ranges by species, but a lot of them can live a long time, maybe even up to upwards of 20 years. I know we've had several of them in some of our larger exhibits that get larger, and they've been in there for close to 8 years, so it really depends on the species. How many species do you have in this tank? Quite a few. Gotta think about that. We've got at least 3 different species of catfish, at least 5 or 6 different species of sunfish, 1 largemouth bass, 1 smallmouth bass, so that's another couple species. Oh, make that 4 species of catfish, because I just saw a white catfish swim by. There's our channel catfish, and then the white is that bigger guy in the back. Oh, coming forward. So a lot. There's at least 10 different species of fish in this tank. Addie wants to know if any of these fish have big teeth like her. They don't have big teeth. They just have teeny tiny little teeth. Let's see if I can get close enough to see there. He's got teeny little teeth. That's not to say that if they bit you it would hurt. It wouldn't necessarily. It would be a surprise, and also could be a little pricky painful, but not really that serious. They have teeny tiny little teeth like this guy there. So there's one of our bluegill again, another bluegill. You guys could very easily go out to any lake or pond nearby your house and see bluegill and redbreast all over the place. You can see them swimming from even the top of the water. They're really fun fish to have. They're very smart. There's your yellow perch again. There's your redbreast in the back. Another yellow perch just swam by. They're getting a little amped up. There's your big redbreast there. Have you been bitten by the fish before? You mean today? Yes, I've been bitten by almost all of the fish here. It kind of happens when you work here. You feed them, they attribute your hands to food or whatnot, or they're going to defend themselves. So yes, I've been bit by all of the fish. These fish don't hurt very much at all, and they wouldn't really bite you. But I have been bit by the fish. How many teeth do they have? I don't know. It depends on the species, but they can have a lot of little teeny tiny teeth in their mouth. There's another bluegill there. It's a young one. It's a Roanoke bass. Another cool thing about this exhibit is that we have live vegetation that is in algae in the back there. But then from the top we have all this live plants that we will be adding more to prior to us reopening again later. But looks like we have a visitor here. Our resident box turtle has come out to investigate the happenings of this exhibit. So he lives in the backside of this exhibit, and he will come into the water and swim. This is our little box turtle in the pond exhibit. Our staff call him Michael Phelps because he likes to swim. Looks like if we coax him enough, he might come in the water. Come on, Michael. This is just an eastern box turtle. They're very common around here, very sweet. Really cool animals. This one's very orange, more orange than any one that we've ever seen. Do they lose their teeth? Melissa, if you're asking about the fish losing their teeth, no, they are kind of set in bone like you and I have, and they're just teeny tiny. They can lose them, but they don't really like continuously lose them like a shark does. As for the box turtle, I don't think he has teeth. He just kind of has a beak, maybe some crushing plates. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this pond exhibit, feeding and enrichment. Hopefully you enjoyed learning about some fish that you could find even in your own backyard. So please join us again for any of our natural education here on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and whatnot. Join our website for any updated information, and if you're feeling generous, please consider adopting a wild thing or even donating to our emergency fund so we can continue to care for these animals every day. And here's Michael Phelps, the box turtle, saying bye, and join us again tomorrow at 11.